If you truly want to change your life, not just talk about it, not just dream about it, then I want you to do this one thing for the next 90 days. Because 90 days can completely transform who you are, what you achieve, and how you feel about yourself. The next 90 days can be the turning point of your entire life, if you commit to it with total dedication. For the next 90 days, wake up every single morning with one thought in mind: progress. Not perfection, not comparison, not what anyone else is doing, just progress. Ask yourself, what can I do today that will move me one step closer to the life I want? That one question, asked and acted upon daily, has the power to change everything. Because most people wait for the right time, the right mood, the right conditions, and that moment never comes. Winners, however, create momentum by acting now. You see, success is never a single big event. It's the accumulation of small, disciplined actions done consistently over time. The 90-day rule is simple. If you can stay consistent for 90 days, not perfect, but consistent, you'll rewire your brain, build powerful habits, and unlock a level of confidence you didn't know existed. The human mind is like a muscle. Repetition builds strength. Every day you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted, that you are capable, and that your word means something. Here's the truth. The next 90 days will pass whether you use them or waste them. Time will move forward regardless. The question is, when those 90 days are over, will you be closer to your goals, or still talking about what you want to do? Will you be proud of your discipline, or full of regret because you let another season of your life slip away? You get to decide that today. So for the next 90 days, focus on 3 simple commitments. First, decide exactly what you want. Clarity is power. Write it down. Be specific. The mind needs direction. The clearer your target, the easier it is to hit it. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Define what that means. What does success look like for you? How much do you want to earn? What kind of person do you want to become? Create a simple daily plan of action. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a 50-step strategy. Just a few key behaviors you'll repeat every day. It could be reading 20 minutes, exercising, writing your goals, making calls, or improving one skill that moves you forward. The secret is consistency, doing what matters even when you don't feel like it. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Third, track your progress. What gets measured gets improved. At the end of each day, review what you did well and what you can do better tomorrow. This keeps your focus sharp. It keeps your mind hungry. You begin to see proof of your own effort, and that proof builds belief. Belief turns into confidence, and confidence turns into results. Now, let me warn you, it won't be easy. The first few days will be exciting, but the real growth begins when it stops being exciting. When you wake up tired, when you feel doubt, when it seems like nothing's changing, that's the moment you're actually changing the most. Because every time you push through resistance, you're rewiring your habits. You're telling your subconscious mind, I don't quit. I finish what I start. And that mindset, once locked in, will make you unstoppable. Imagine 90 days from now, you've kept your word to yourself every single day. You've become stronger, sharper, more confident. You've built momentum. You've developed habits that now feel natural. You've proven that you can commit and follow through. That kind of self-respect will change every area of your life, your work, your relationships, your confidence, your future. So, I challenge you, not for a lifetime, not even for a year. 90 days. Give yourself that. 90 days of laser focus. 90 days of discipline. 90 days of consistency. Wake up every day and say, today I will take one step toward my goals. And if you do that, If you keep your promise to yourself for just 90 days, your life will never be the same again. Because success isn't about luck. It's about discipline. It's about habit. It's about doing what most people want, so you can live how most people can't. The next 90 days could define the next 9 years of your life. So start today, not tomorrow, not someday. Today. Take one small action and don't stop. Consistency is the gateway to transformation. It's the secret ingredient behind every lasting achievement, every breakthrough, every story of success you've ever admired. People often search for motivation, for that spark of inspiration that will carry them forward. But motivation is like the wind. It comes and goes. Consistency, on the other hand, is the solid ground you can build your life on. When you choose to show up every single day, no matter how you feel, you create the foundation for something extraordinary. Think of consistency as compound interest for your goals. Every small, disciplined action you take adds up, little by little, until one day the results are so significant that even you're surprised by how far you've come. Most people underestimate what they can do in 90 days of steady effort. They think transformation requires years. The truth is, you can radically change the direction of your life in just 90 days. Not by doing something huge once, but by doing something small every single day. The reason consistency works is simple. It builds trust. Trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on your word, you strengthen your confidence. You start to believe in your own reliability, and that belief becomes power. When you prove to yourself day after day that you can keep your promises, you stop doubting your ability to achieve big things. The people who achieve greatness aren't always the most talented or the luckiest. They're the ones who keep going long after others quit. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. You will have days when you don't feel like doing it, days when you're tired, distracted, or discouraged. But those are the days that matter most. Because every time you push through resistance, you build inner strength. Success is not about doing everything right. It's about doing the right things often enough to make progress. It's about the power of momentum. Once you start building momentum through consistent effort, life begins to cooperate. Opportunities appear, confidence grows, and your energy multiplies. Imagine this. You decide on one clear goal. Maybe it's improving your health, growing your business, or mastering a new skill. For the next 90 days, you commit to one action every day that supports that goal. It might be exercising for 30 minutes, making 10 calls, or reading 10 pages of a book. At first, the progress will feel invisible. You won't see immediate results, and that's where most people give up. But if you persist, something magical happens. Around day 30, you begin to notice subtle improvements. By day 60, your confidence starts to rise. And by day 90, you've built a habit so strong, it feels like part of who you are. Consistency is how you bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to become. It's the daily act of choosing discipline over comfort, focus over distraction, long-term vision over short-term emotion. You're not just building results, you're building character. You're developing the mindset of someone who finishes what they start. And that mindset will carry you through any challenge life throws your way. Most people stop right before the breakthrough. They quit just before momentum starts working in their favor. Don't let that be you. Stay consistent when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one's watching, because that's when transformation truly happens. Not in the highlight moments, but in the quiet repetition of effort. Every day you show up, you're rewriting your story. You're teaching yourself that you can rely on you. And when you reach that level of self-trust, you become unstoppable. The next 90 days are a test of your consistency. If you can do something meaningful every day, no matter how small, you'll build habits that last far beyond these 3 months. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's what turns goals into reality. Because in the end, It's not what you do once in a while that defines your success. It's what you do every single day. Clarity creates power. It is the spark that ignites direction, confidence, and focus. Without clarity, even the most talented person can drift aimlessly, working hard but achieving little. But once you become absolutely clear about what you want and why you want it, your energy aligns, your actions gain purpose, and your decisions become effortless. The next 90 days can completely transform your life if you start by getting crystal clear on your goal. Most people never take the time to define what they truly want. They chase vague ideas of success, wealth, or happiness, without ever painting a clear picture of what that looks like for them. That's why they lose motivation so quickly. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. Clarity begins with honest reflection. Ask yourself, what do I truly want to accomplish in the next 90 days? What does success look like to me? Not to my parents, not to society, but to me. Be specific. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, say, I will exercise 5 days a week and lose 10 pounds. Instead of, I want to be successful, say, I will grow my income by 20% by closing 3 new clients. When you define your goals with precision, your mind begins to focus like a laser. You stop wasting energy on distractions because you know exactly what matters and what doesn't. Clarity also gives you motivation. When your vision is clear, your reason becomes strong. You begin to see not just what you want, but why it matters. That why is the emotional fuel that keeps you moving when things get difficult. Every great achievement begins as a clear mental picture. Think about any successful person, an athlete, an entrepreneur, an artist. They all saw their success in their mind before it became reality. They visualized it, believed in it, and acted on it. That's the power of clarity. It turns your imagination into a blueprint for achievement. When you write down your goals clearly, something powerful happens in your subconscious mind. It begins working day and night to find solutions, opportunities, and ideas that align with your vision. It's like programming a GPS. Once the destination is entered, your brain constantly searches for the best route to get there. You may not know exactly how you'll reach your goal, but once you're clear about where you're going, the path begins to appear step by step. Clarity creates confidence because it eliminates confusion. Instead of wasting time second-guessing yourself, you take decisive action, and each action builds momentum. The challenge most people face isn't a lack of intelligence or effort. It's a lack of direction. They're busy, but they're not productive. They work hard, but go in circles because they've never decided what truly matters. The next 90 days give you a chance to change that. Decide on one major goal, just one, that would make the biggest positive difference in your life. Then write it down, visualize it daily, and plan your days around it. Every morning, remind yourself of that goal. Every evening, ask yourself what you did to move closer to it. When your vision stays clear, your motivation stays alive. Clarity also demands that you eliminate distractions. You cannot focus on everything and expect to move forward. You must choose what to say yes to and what to say no to. Every yes to your goal requires a no to something else that steals your time and energy. Discipline begins with clarity, because when you know what you truly want, saying no to what doesn't serve you becomes easier. If you want to make the next 90 days count, start with a pen and a blank page. Write your top 3 goals. Describe them in detail. What success looks like, feels like, and means to you. Then commit to reviewing them every day. The more you focus on your vision, the sharper it becomes, and the more powerful your actions become. You'll begin to notice opportunities you once overlooked. You'll feel more in control of your time, your habits, and your emotions. That is the magic of clarity. It transforms chaos into focus and turns wishful thinking into deliberate achievement. When your direction is clear, your confidence grows, your purpose deepens, and your energy becomes unstoppable. The clearer your vision, the greater your results. Clarity doesn't just help you move faster. It ensures you're moving in the right direction. Habits are the invisible architecture of success. They determine the quality of your days and, ultimately, the quality of your life. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If you truly want to transform your life in the next 90 days, stop focusing only on outcomes and start focusing on the daily behaviors that create those outcomes. Success is not a mystery, it's a formula, and that formula is built through consistent, repeated habits that align with your goals. Every great achievement begins with small, intentional actions repeated over time. The person who exercises daily becomes fit. The one who reads and learns daily becomes wise. The one who saves and invests daily becomes wealthy. Habits turn effort into instinct and discipline into rhythm. Once you build the right habits, success stops being something you chase and becomes something you naturally attract. The goal for the next 90 days is not to do everything perfectly, but to identify a few key habits that will move your life forward and commit to them relentlessly. Start by choosing no more than 3 core habits that directly connect to your biggest goals. For example, if your goal is better health, your habits might be exercising for 30 minutes, drinking more water, and preparing healthy meals. If your goal is financial growth, your habits might include tracking your spending, making daily sales calls, or studying your craft for an hour each day. Keep it simple because complexity kills consistency. Small, repeatable habits are the foundation of big results. The first few days of building a habit are easy. You feel motivated, excited, full of energy. But soon the excitement fades, and that's when most people quit. They mistake boredom for failure. They think if it's not thrilling, it's not working. What we see it through the issue is the opposite. The moment you can do something without excitement, but with consistency, you're winning. That's when the habit starts to take root. Growth hides in repetition. Every time you repeat an action, you strengthen the neural pathways in your brain that make that behavior automatic. And once it's automatic, success becomes effortless. The key is to focus on process, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect for 90 days. You just need to be consistent enough to let the habit grow. Even if you fail one day, get back up the next. The real power lies in persistence. Most people underestimate how much small actions compound. One missed day means nothing. Giving up completely means everything. If you miss, forgive yourself quickly and return to the path. Because every time you start again, you prove to yourself that you're serious about your growth. Building momentum through daily habits also trains your mind to think long-term. It rewires your brain from instant gratification to delayed satisfaction, the mindset of true success. You begin to realize that the little things matter, that small wins add up, and that discipline feels better than comfort. Over time, those small daily victories accumulate into something extraordinary. What once felt like effort becomes second nature. You don't have to force it anymore. It becomes part of who you are. To make your habits stick, create an environment that supports them. Remove temptation, reduce friction, and make good choices easy. Lay out your gym clothes before bed. Keep your journal where you can see it. Turn off notifications that steal your attention. Your environment should pull you toward your goals, not away from them. When you design your surroundings to support your habits, success becomes almost automatic. Remember, the goal is progress, not perfection. You're building momentum one day at a time, and momentum is what turns habits into identity. The moment you identify as the kind of person who keeps promises to yourself, everything changes. You stop saying, "I'm trying to get fit," and start saying, "I'm someone who works out." You stop saying, "I want to learn," and start saying, "I'm a learner." That subtle shift in identity transforms your entire mindset. If you stay consistent for 90 days, the results will be undeniable. Your habits will reshape your confidence, your energy, and your self-image. You'll begin to trust yourself again, to know that you can follow through. That trust becomes your greatest strength because it removes doubt. Habits build momentum, and momentum builds belief. Belief turns into action, and action creates results. That's how transformation happens, not overnight, but through 90 days of deliberate, disciplined, daily effort. Motivation feels good, but discipline is what builds empires. The truth is, motivation is unreliable. It fades when you're tired, distracted, or frustrated. Discipline, on the other hand, is the muscle that keeps you moving forward long after motivation disappears. It's the invisible force that turns your plans into progress and your dreams into reality. If you can develop the discipline to stay consistent for the next 90 days, you can change everything about your life, your results, your confidence, and your future. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. It's easy to act when you're excited. It's easy to work hard when the rewards are visible. But real growth happens in the moments when it's not easy, when there's no applause, when you're alone, and the only person who can push you is yourself. That's where discipline lives. It's the inner decision to honor your goals, not your moods. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am in control of my life. And that message builds strength, confidence, and resilience. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going. Think of an athlete training early in the morning, long before anyone is watching. They're not motivated every day, but they are disciplined. They've built the habit of showing up no matter what. The same is true in business, relationships, health, or personal growth. The most successful people in every field aren't the ones who feel inspired all the time. They're the ones who keep going when inspiration fades. Discipline bridges the gap between intention and achievement. In the next 90 days, your goal should be to train your discipline like a muscle. Every time you resist distraction, every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy one, you're strengthening that muscle. It starts small, getting up when your alarm rings, finishing a task even when you'd rather quit, saying no to what doesn't serve your purpose. Over time, these small victories accumulate. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop waiting for the right moment. You just act. And that action creates momentum. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about being committed to your best self. It's self-respect in motion. When you follow through on your commitments, you build trust with yourself. You begin to see that your word has power. Most people break promises to themselves so often that they lose confidence. But when you practice discipline, you rebuild that inner trust. You become someone whose actions match their words, and that integrity changes everything. There will be days when your mind tries to talk you out of it. It will say, "Take a break, do it tomorrow, you've done enough." That's the voice of comfort trying to keep you where you are. Discipline is the voice that says, "No, keep going, one more step." The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is found in those moments when you push through resistance. That's when you grow. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pride of accomplishment lasts forever. Discipline also creates freedom. At first it feels restrictive. You have to control your impulses, manage your time, and stick to structure. But over time, discipline gives you power. You gain control over your schedule, your emotions, your habits, and your outcomes. You're no longer a slave to procrastination or distraction. You begin to operate with focus and clarity. You do what most people won't, so you can live how most people can't. The next 90 days are an opportunity to prove to yourself what you're capable of. You don't need to feel motivated every day. You just need to show up. Discipline turns ordinary days into extraordinary progress. It makes you unstoppable because it eliminates the need for constant inspiration. You act out of commitment, not emotion. You move forward because you said you would. So for the next 90 days, make discipline your guiding principle. Wake up with purpose, follow through with consistency, and go to bed knowing you honored your goals. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Eventually, you won't have to force yourself. You'll want to do it because you'll see how good it feels to be in control of your life. That's the gift of discipline. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. Tracking your progress is one of the most powerful habits you can develop because it transforms invisible effort into visible evidence. Most people work hard but don't measure their actions, and as a result, they lose motivation. When you track your progress, you see proof of your commitment, and that proof becomes fuel. It reminds you that you're improving, even when results aren't yet visible. For the next 90 days, make it your mission to measure everything that matters. Because what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets improved. When you track your progress, you take control of your growth. You no longer rely on vague feelings or random guesses about whether you're doing well. You deal in facts, not feelings. You can look at your notes, your numbers, your journal, and see exactly how far you've come. That's powerful because progress is one of the strongest motivators in human psychology. Seeing evidence of your advancement keeps you engaged and disciplined. It gives you a sense of accomplishment that builds confidence and momentum. Every successful person I've ever studied, entrepreneurs, athletes, authors, leaders, all have one thing in common. They track their progress relentlessly. They measure their habits, their results, and their performance, not because they're obsessed with perfection, but because they understand that feedback is the foundation of improvement. You can't fix what you don't track. You can't improve what you don't measure. The act of writing things down, of keeping score, makes you more aware, more focused, and more intentional about your actions. Start simple. Choose one area of your life that you want to improve. Your health, finances, productivity, or mindset, and decide exactly what metrics you'll track. If it's your fitness, track your workouts, your meals, your sleep. If it's your business, track your sales calls, your clients, your revenue. If it's personal growth, track your reading, your learning, your daily habits. At the end of each day, spend a few minutes reviewing what you did. Ask yourself, what went well today? What didn't? What can I do better tomorrow? This simple act of reflection sharpens your awareness and keeps your goals alive in your mind. Tracking your progress also keeps you honest. It's easy to convince yourself that you're working hard when you're not measuring. But when you write things down, there's no room for illusion. The numbers tell the truth. That honesty might feel uncomfortable at first, but is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It replaces excuses with clarity. It forces you to face reality, and that's where real change begins. Progress tracking is not about judgment, it's about self-awareness. It's a tool for growth, not guilt. Over time, tracking your progress builds momentum. You begin to see patterns, what works and what doesn't. You can identify the small changes that create the biggest results. You learn when you're most productive, what habits fuel your energy, and what behaviors drain it. That insight allows you to make smarter choices and optimize your performance. Instead of drifting through your days, you begin to move with direction and purpose. There's also a psychological power in seeing streaks of success. When you look back at your progress chart or journal and see days, weeks, or months of consistency, you won't want to break that chain. It becomes a source of pride and motivation. You start competing with your past self, pushing to do a little better each day. That's how excellence is built, not through giant leaps, but through small, measurable improvements stacked over time. The truth is, tracking your progress gives you perspective. There will be days when you feel like nothing's working, when it seems like you're stuck. But when you look back at your records, you'll realize how far you've come. You'll see growth that your emotions might have blinded you to. And that realization reignites your determination. It reminds you that progress is never instant. It's earned through persistence, one day at a time. For the next 90 days, commit to being your own accountability partner. Document your journey. Celebrate your wins, learn from your losses, and keep moving forward. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish when you start measuring your effort. Progress tracking turns hard work into proof, proof into belief, and belief into unstoppable confidence. When you can see your growth, you'll believe in it, and when you believe in it, you'll achieve even more. 90 days may not seem like much time, but it's long enough to completely redefine your life. It's long enough to build new habits, strengthen your mindset, and create real, measurable progress toward your goal. Most people underestimate how much can change in a short, focused period of time. They think transformation takes years, but the truth is, 90 days of discipline can create a momentum that carries you for years to come. The next 90 days can be the most powerful chapter of your life if you treat them as a mission, a personal contract between you and your future self. When you dedicate yourself fully for 90 days, you activate a new level of focus. You stop drifting and start directing. You begin to realize that time is your most valuable resource, and that every day counts. Each morning becomes an opportunity to move closer to your vision, and each night becomes a reflection of how well you used your time. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. The power of 90 days lies in its simplicity. It's short enough to feel achievable, yet long enough to build permanent change. Think about how much can truly happen in 3 months. You can get in the best shape of your life. You can double your income. You can finish a project you've been putting off for years. You can develop a powerful routine that strengthens your confidence and self-control. The reason 90 days works so well is because it creates urgency. It's long enough to produce results, but short enough to demand focus. You can't afford to waste time because every day matters. When you know the clock is ticking, you push harder, stay consistent, and eliminate distractions. The next 90 days are not about being perfect. They're about being persistent. Every day won't be easy. You'll face obstacles, doubt, and fatigue. But that's the point. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you push through resistance. Each day you show up, you strengthen your self-discipline, your resilience, and your belief in yourself. That belief compounds over time until it becomes unstoppable confidence. You begin to trust your ability to follow through, and that self-trust is the foundation of every great success. The beauty of a 90-day commitment is that it gives you structure. Instead of vague goals, you have a clear timeline. You can plan your days, track your habits, and measure your progress. You can see where you started and how far you've come. This sense of progress creates momentum, and momentum is one of the most powerful forces in achievement. Once it starts, it's hard to stop. You begin to feel the shift from uncertainty to direction, from procrastination to purpose. 90 days also reveal who you really are when things get tough. They test your patience, your commitment, and your attitude. But through that test, you discover your strength. You learn that you are far more capable than you ever realized. When you complete those 90 days, when you look back and see the discipline, the effort, the sacrifices, something changes inside you. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries. You see yourself as someone who does. And that identity shift is permanent. Once you've proven to yourself that you can stay committed for 90 days, you'll never doubt your ability to achieve again. Every great transformation begins with a decision. The decision to commit, to focus, and to stay consistent no matter what. 90 days of relentless focus can do what years of scattered effort cannot. It's not about massive leaps. It's about daily progress. If you show up every day with intention, if you use your time wisely, if you give your best effort, you'll look back and barely recognize the person you used to be. So imagine yourself 90 days from now. You wake up with more energy, more confidence, and more clarity. You've built habits that make success automatic. You've proven to yourself that you can stay disciplined and that your word means something. The results, whether physical, financial, or personal, are undeniable. You've become stronger, sharper, more focused. You're not just surviving anymore, you're winning. That's the power of 90 days. It's not just a period of time, it's a challenge, a test, and an opportunity. If you commit with your whole heart, those 90 days will set the standard for the rest of your life. Because once you've seen what you can do in 90 days of focused effort, you'll never settle for average again. 90 days can redefine your habits, your mindset, and your destiny. If you start today and refuse to stop until the transformation is complete, the next 90 days are not just a stretch of time. They are a powerful opportunity to rewrite the story of your life. Everything you want, the success, the confidence, the discipline, the freedom, begins with the decisions you make each day from this moment forward. In these 90 days, you can train your mind to focus, your body to act, and your spirit to believe. You can develop the habits that create results, the clarity that drives purpose, and the discipline that sustains progress. If you commit fully, these 90 days will prove something life-changing, that you are capable of more than you've ever given yourself credit for. The excuses, the hesitation, the doubt, all of it can disappear the moment you take consistent action toward your goals. Because once you've built momentum, once you've seen yourself follow through, you'll never go back to who you were before. So take this as your challenge. 90 days of focus, 90 days of discipline, 90 days of unwavering commitment. Wake up every morning with purpose, act every day with intention, and end every night knowing you gave your best. The version of you waiting on the other side of these 90 days is stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today. The countdown begins now, and in just 90 days, you'll look back and realize that this was the moment your entire life began to change. Thank you